Ladies and gentlemen, self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth and happiness, particularly when it comes to learning how to be happy alone. It's the process of looking inward, examining your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment, and understanding who you truly are at your core. Often we live our lives on autopilot, reacting to situations and people without taking the time to reflect on why we do what we do. But when you embark on the journey of self-awareness, you begin to understand the why behind your actions, your fears, and even your desires. It's about peeling back the layers that the world has placed on you, societal expectations, past experiences, other people's opinions, and asking yourself, who am I really? What do I value? What makes me come alive? When you start to become aware of your strengths and weaknesses, your likes and dislikes, your dreams and aspirations, you begin to separate what truly matters to you from what you've been conditioned to believe. This awareness is empowering because it gives you the ability to make choices that are aligned with your authentic self. Self-awareness is also key to emotional intelligence. It allows you to recognize your emotions as they arise and understand how they influence your behavior. Instead of reacting impulsively or being driven by external validation, you learn to manage your responses in a way that serves your highest self. You're no longer at the mercy of how others treat you or whether you have someone by your side to make you feel worthy. In moments of solitude, self-awareness becomes a powerful tool. When you're alone, there are no distractions, no noise, no external validation to lean on. It's just you and your thoughts. This is where the real work begins, sitting with yourself, becoming aware of your internal dialogue, and learning to differentiate between your true self and the false narratives that may have been shaped by past experiences. As you cultivate this awareness, you start to appreciate your own company. You begin to understand that happiness is not something that happens to you, but something you can create from within. You realize that by knowing yourself fully, you have the power to fulfill your own emotional needs, set boundaries, and create a life that reflects who you truly are. Self-awareness, therefore, is not just about understanding yourself, it's about embracing the freedom that comes with knowing that you have everything you need within you. Once you know who you are, being alone becomes an opportunity for self-reflection, personal growth, and ultimately happiness. Self-worth is the foundation of your identity, your value, and how you perceive yourself in the world. It's the internal belief that you are valuable, deserving of love, respect, and happiness, not because of what you do or how others see you, but simply because you exist. In a society that often measures worth by external standards, success, appearance, relationships, achievements, it's easy to tie your value to those things. Many people fall into the trap of thinking their worth depends on how others view them, how much they accomplish, or the relationships they're in. But true self-worth has nothing to do with external factors. It is an unshakable sense of value that comes from within, independent of others' opinions or external circumstances. When you understand your self-worth, you no longer seek validation from the outside world. You no longer need someone else to tell you that you're worthy of love or approval. You realize that your worth is intrinsic. It is not earned, it is inherent. You matter simply because you exist. Learning to be happy alone requires this deep sense of self-worth. When you're comfortable in your own skin, you no longer depend on others to fill emotional voids or to affirm your value. Relationships and external achievements become a complement to your life, not the source of your happiness. You don't need to chase after others' validation because you've already validated yourself. Self-worth also affects how you treat yourself and how you allow others to treat you. When you know your value, you set boundaries that protect your emotional and mental well-being. You stop settling for less than you deserve, whether it's in friendships, romantic relationships, or professional situations, because you understand that you are worthy of respect, kindness, and love, no matter what. Building self-worth is a lifelong journey, but it begins with the way you speak to yourself. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, criticism, and negativity, you may struggle to see your true value. But if you practice self-compassion and affirm your worth regularly, you begin to shift your mindset from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance. When you fully embrace your self-worth, you'll find that solitude is no longer something to fear. Being alone isn't a reflection of inadequacy or loneliness. Instead, it becomes a space where you can nurture yourself, pursue your passions, and grow. You don't feel empty when you're by yourself because you know that you're whole, just as you are. Ultimately, self-worth is the key to unlocking happiness within yourself. It allows you to stand tall, even in solitude, knowing that you are valuable and deserving of all the good things life has to offer, regardless of who is or isn't standing beside you. Once you recognize your worth, no one can take it away, and that's when you'll find true, lasting happiness that radiates from within. The power in solitude is one of life's greatest yet often misunderstood gifts. In a world constantly buzzing with activity, social expectations, and external noise, solitude can sometimes be mistaken for loneliness or isolation. But in reality, solitude holds the potential for profound personal growth, reflection, and empowerment. It's a space where you can tap into your inner strength and transform your life from the inside out. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It gives you the time and freedom to disconnect from the external pressures of the world and reconnect with yourself. When you're alone, there are no distractions or demands from others. It's a time to pause, reflect, and truly listen to your inner voice. Solitude provides a sanctuary where you can hear your own thoughts, dreams, and desires more clearly without the influence of outside opinions. This clarity is where the real power lies. In solitude, you rediscover yourself. So much of our daily lives are shaped by the expectations of others, family, friends, society, even social media. We often mold ourselves to fit in, to be accepted, or to please others. But when you're alone, there's no one to impress, no one to perform for. In that quiet space, you can strip away the layers of external conditioning and ask yourself, who am I really? What do I want? What makes me feel alive? This is the beginning of authentic self-discovery, where you begin to understand yourself not through the lens of others, but through your own unfiltered experience. Solitude is the breeding ground for creativity. Some of the most creative minds in history, artists, writers, thinkers, and innovators have sought out solitude to unlock their greatest ideas. In silence, the mind is free to wander, explore, and create without the constant interruption of daily life. When you give yourself the gift of solitude, you open the door to creativity, new perspectives, and solutions that might have been buried beneath the noise of a busy world. The power of solitude allows your imagination to run wild and your deepest ideas to come to the surface. Solitude is also where true inner strength is forged. In a world where we are often told that we need someone else to complete us or make us happy, solitude teaches you the opposite, that you are enough, all by yourself. Being alone forces you to confront your fears, insecurities, and doubts head on, and in doing so, you learn to rely on your own resilience. You develop self-reliance, self-confidence, and the ability to stand strong, even when external support isn't there. The strength that comes from knowing you can thrive in your own company is unmatched. It makes you less dependent on external circumstances or relationships for your sense of fulfillment. Solitude brings healing. Life can be chaotic, and our emotions can often get buried in the hustle and bustle of it all. When you spend time alone, you give yourself the opportunity to process your emotions, grieve, heal, and let go of pain. Solitude is a place where you can reflect on the past, gain perspective, and emerge stronger, wiser, and more centered. It's in these moments of stillness that you can make peace with yourself. Forgive yourself for past mistakes and move forward with a clear mind and a healed heart. Learning to be happy in solitude also builds emotional independence. You realize that your happiness doesn't depend on being around others or having someone constantly by your side. Instead, you learn to cultivate joy, contentment, and peace from within. When you can be happy alone, you're no longer dependent on others for your emotional well-being. You no longer cling to relationships out of fear of being alone. Instead, you approach relationships from a place of fullness, where you can give and receive love freely because you are already complete within yourself. Solitude empowers you to take control of your life. When you're alone, you have the space to reflect on your life choices, goals, and aspirations. You can assess where you are and where you want to go. It's a time for strategic thinking and planning. Solitude allows you to evaluate what's working in your life and what needs to change without the distraction of other people's agendas or opinions. In solitude, you become the author of your own story, making deliberate choices that align with your values and purpose. Finally, solitude offers peace. In a world that never stops moving, solitude gives you a chance to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with your inner peace. It's a time to meditate, practice mindfulness, or simply enjoy the stillness. In that space of quiet, you find balance and calm, a reminder that despite the chaos of the external world, there is always a place of peace within you. In summary, the power in solitude lies in its ability to help you rediscover yourself, unlock creativity, build inner strength, heal emotionally, and gain clarity and direction. It is in solitude that you tap into your true potential and realize that your happiness, fulfillment, and strength are not dependent on others, but are cultivated from within. Embracing independence is about recognizing and celebrating your ability to stand on your own 2 feet, both emotionally and practically. It's about taking full ownership of your life, your choices, and your happiness without relying on others to fulfill your needs or dictate your path. Independence, when fully embraced, leads to freedom, self-confidence, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Independence is about self-reliance. It's the understanding that while relationships with others are important, your happiness and well-being should not be dependent on anyone else. Many people fall into the trap of believing that they need someone to complete them or make them feel whole. But true independence means realizing that you are already complete as you are. Your worth, joy, and purpose are not tied to another person or external source. By relying on yourself to meet your needs emotionally, mentally, and physically, you take back control of your life. When you embrace independence, you step into your own power. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. You trust your intuition, your decisions, and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's a shift from seeking answers or validation from others to knowing that you have the inner resources to navigate life on your terms. Independence doesn't mean you never ask for help or collaborate with others, but it means you recognize that at the core, you are responsible for your own life. You are your own anchor. Independence gives you the freedom to create the life you want. Without being tied down by others' expectations or opinions, you have the space to explore your true desires, passions, and goals. Independence allows you to make decisions that reflect your own values and priorities rather than conforming to what others expect of you. Whether it's pursuing a career that fulfills you, traveling solo, or simply taking time for self-care, independence opens up a world of possibilities where you are in charge of writing your own story. Independence also fosters resilience. Life will inevitably bring challenges, disappointments, and setbacks. When you embrace independence, you develop the emotional strength to handle these difficulties on your own. Instead of relying on others to pick you up when you fall, you learn to rely on yourself. This resilience comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the inner strength and resourcefulness to overcome obstacles. The more you practice this independence, the more confidence you gain in your ability to navigate life's ups and downs without losing yourself. Independence doesn't mean isolation or avoiding relationships. It's important to understand that embracing independence doesn't mean rejecting connection with others. In fact, true independence allows you to engage in healthier, more fulfilling relationships because you're not seeking to fill an emotional void or depending on someone else to make you happy. Instead, you bring your whole, complete self to the relationship. This creates a dynamic where you and the other person can grow together from a place of mutual respect and love rather than codependence. Being independent means setting boundaries. When you embrace independence, you also learn to protect your personal space, energy, and emotional well-being. Setting boundaries means recognizing where your responsibilities end and someone else's begin. It's understanding that you are not obligated to please everyone or live up to others' expectations. Healthy boundaries empower you to say no when necessary, to protect your time and energy, and to prioritize what truly matters to you. This level of self-respect is a crucial aspect of independence, as it reinforces the idea that your life is yours to lead. Independence is key to personal growth. When you depend on others for validation or direction, you limit your ability to grow. But when you embrace independence, you push yourself to step outside of your comfort zone. You challenge yourself to learn new skills, solve problems on your own, and make decisions that may feel risky but ultimately lead to growth. Independence encourages you to take responsibility for your learning, your health, and your future. It drives you to continually improve and evolve, knowing that your life is in your hands. Financial independence is another critical component. Being financially independent gives you the freedom to make choices based on what's best for you, not out of necessity or dependence on others. It allows you to pursue your dreams, take risks, and live life on your own terms without being tied down by financial obligations to someone else. Financial independence is empowering because it gives you control over your future, ensuring that you can support yourself and achieve your goals without relying on others. Independence strengthens self-confidence. Every time you make a decision on your own, take care of yourself, or overcome a challenge, you build confidence in your own abilities. You begin to realize that you don't need to wait for someone else's approval to pursue what you want in life. This self-confidence in turn encourages you to take even more bold steps towards your goals, knowing that you have the ability to succeed on your own terms. The more independent you become, the more comfortable you are in your own skin, and the more assured you are in your decisions and actions. Embracing independence creates a deeper sense of fulfillment. When you rely on others for your happiness, your emotional state becomes fragile, fluctuating